On the 6th floor of Munch in Oslo, you will find Monumental. All the paintings in this room are drafts for the monumental decorations that Edvard Munch made for the University of Oslo's Aula, its ceremonial hall they built to celebrate their centenary in 1911. From 1908, the university wished to build a large, modern, beautiful hall for ceremonies and celebrations. They also wanted, as part of this project, to have murals on the walls. So they put together a committee to judge a competition for this commission. This was a sought-after commission. Many people wanted it, and it became quite the public controversy in terms of who was on the jury, who would be invited to even join the competition, and who would win it. In the end, and 5 years after the centenary, Edvard Munch's paintings were installed in the wall of the Aula, where they still hang today. So, Edvard Munch got the commission, you might think. Well, no, actually, he didn't. The jury couldn't agree on who should win the commission. So the centenary in 1911 actually opened the Aula with no paintings on the walls. Still, Edvard Munch continued working on the project, and in 1914, a group of private individuals purchased and donated 11 paintings to the university. And these were mounted on the walls of the Aula in 1916. Edvard Munch spent 7 years working on this project. He made over 140 sketches. 11 of the paintings were mounted on the walls, and the remaining paintings were a part of the Edvard Munch bequest to the city of Oslo and became part of the Munch collection. You can see a selection of them here in Monumental. How did Edvard Munch paint these paintings? Well, he actually used the same process as he did with his larger artworks, oil on canvas, instead of creating murals directly on the wall. He spent many years abroad, and in 1909, he returned to Norway and spent the next few years living along the Norwegian coast in different towns like Kragerø and Hvitsten. There he built large outdoor studios to make these massive paintings. He would use a ladder to reach the top. He would paint using a paintbrush, but also other tools, even scratching into the surfaces. He would create large canvases by combining 2, 3, or even as many as 13 pieces of canvases to have these large surfaces to paint on. He would put paint on the canvases in thick layers or in thin washes, in pure color, or also mixing colors together. And for these paintings, he also mixed things into the paint, such as hair or sand to create really thick impasto effect. Or he would mix turpentine into the paint to have it run down the canvas. And what are these paintings about? Well, all of the paintings have themes connected to education, knowledge, enlightenment, and science. This is the sun, the main image in the Aula paintings and in this project. The sun symbolizes enlightenment, which permeates all of the paintings in this room. You see a blazing sun with colorful rays reaching out above the Norwegian landscape of Kragerø. That Edvard Munch used the Norwegian landscape was natural. Only a few years earlier, Norway had gained independence in 1905, and Edvard Munch wanted something specifically Norwegian and universally human. On either side, you see men and women reaching out towards the sun, and the rays from the sun reaching out past the frame toward the world around it. Edvard Munch said of the main images in the Aula, the sun, history, and alma mater, that they were like impressive flower arrangements, while the smaller images, such as women turned towards the sun and men turned towards the sun, were supposed to be airier and lighter. What is the largest painting in this room? Well, that would be the researchers. The researchers is a whopping 50 square meters. It is 4 meters tall and 11 meters wide. The name, the researchers, comes from the children playing on the beach, exploring the world around them. In the center is a woman nursing an infant. She is often interpreted as Mother Earth or as the nourishing mother, Alma Mater, giving the milk of scholarship. Edvard Munch wasn't always happy with how this composition worked out, and he changed the composition several times. The painting that actually ended up in the Aula was a different painting called Alma Mater. But still, he wasn't happy. And in 1926, he took this painting, the researchers, and placed it on top of Alma Mater in the Aula. Then he removed it, and then he rehung it again in 1939. In 1940, when Norway was occupied by Nazi forces, the researchers was hanging in the Aula with the 11 other paintings. They were removed and kept in the basement of the National Gallery for safekeeping. Something that was fortunate, because in 1943, there was an explosion and a subsequent fire in the Aula, which would have led to the destruction of many of these paintings. Not all of Edvard Munch's suggestions for the Aula were accepted. Some were rejected. An example of this is the Human Mountain. This painting was one of Edvard Munch's earlier suggestions for the Aula. He made a version in 1910-11, and it was rejected by the jury for the main image of the Aula. Instead, Edvard Munch came up with the sun, but this image kept interesting him. And in the 1920s, he created a large-scale monumental version in an outdoor studio in his home, Ekeli, outside of Oslo. It shows nude people climbing up a mountain, reaching towards the light. Edvard Munch also continued to paint some paintings after he created the Aula paintings, such as War on one side and Peace and the Rainbow on the other. He put them together with the Human Mountain, painted between 1927 and 29, creating a triptych where the Human Mountain is the central image. Edvard Munch is known as a painter and a graphic artist. But did you know that he also made sculptures? He didn't make many, but here is one of his few sculptures. It is also called the Human Mountain and is a plaster sculpture. Edvard Munch probably made this sculpture to help him see in 3 dimensions what his 2-dimensional painting should look like. There really is nothing like coming and seeing these artworks in real life. You might have wondered what this round table in the middle of the room is. At Munch, we have a focus on young people and children, and throughout the whole museum, you can find educational experiences for all ages. So, welcome to Monumental.